The weekly starts now.
One of the topics that we hear a lot about is the increases in lumber pricing. It is just insane what is happening. And that's going to be what we're going to talk about today. We're not just going to bitch and moan about the fact that the lumber prices have gone up. We're going to talk about why, how it's affecting remodelers, and what remodelers are doing about it in the way that they're relating to clients. So let's sort of start at the beginning. Dan, what have you noticed is going on out there with these lumber prices?
Well, I got heads up on the fact that they were skyrocketing over a year ago, really from two sources. One, NAHB and the newsletters and stuff that they put out there, but two, also from my framers. So they were telling me, hey, I'm going to give you a price on this project and it's going to be higher than you want and higher than it's been. And it's because the lumber prices are so much higher for me to get the framing package on your job.
So when you say when you say framers, are you noticing this with framing lumber and pressure treated lumber, or mostly just
no, pressure treated, yeah, PT, and also regular standard dimensional lumber of all sizes. I mean, even just buying if you go to the store and you used to pay $3 for a stud, I think I bought one in Houston recently and it was like $13 for one piece of wood.
That's insane. And so what's going on? We hear COVID, we hear supply chain. What is going on? Why is this happening?
It's a combination of things. As you probably know, NAHB is working with Canada on lumber pricing, trying to work out some arrangements on that, and the commodity markets, of course, paying close attention to that. But it's also decreased production with more employees out with COVID, so there's less people on the production chain in the actual lumber mills themselves.
So what has that done to your estimates for homeowners?
Well, obviously, I have to pass that increase along, right? And mark it up as well, because we mark up everything that is an expense, a cost of goods for the job. So we have been more careful, especially on bigger jobs, to get framing prices from the guys that are going to do it. I used to just kind of know what the framing package was going to be for a lot of typical cookie cutter projects.
Sure.
A pretty standard size master suite edition or a patio cover. I didn't need to call my framer in to give me a price on that, but I'm doing it now because I want to know what I'm going to be paying for those prices. And I also have them lock in on the price for that job. So if my framer gives me a price of $25,000 to do a small room addition or something, I'll ask him to lock that in for 90 days because I may not start the job right away. The owners may get sick.
Right.
Lots of things, just life can get in the way. We all experience that.
So Dan, do you pass that lock-in price on to the homeowner then? Do you say this price is good for X amount of
Yes, and more than that, I use it as a selling point. So I'll tell my homeowner these prices are varying, fluctuating wildly, and mostly going up. So to protect you as well as to protect my company, I've asked my framer and my trim carpenters too, actually, to lock in on their price, labor, and materials so that we don't have an unexpected escalation in the short term before we start your project. So we're trying to build in some protection for you to avoid a change order right off the bat when we start because things, got jacked up some more.
And then in terms of relaying that information to homeowners, are you finding that they're really resistant? I mean, if you are, say, a doctor, right? You're a podiatrist and you want to get an addition put on your house. You don't know anything about lumber prices. You've got this remodeler coming in and they're telling you all this stuff. And
well, I sometimes I'll mention it in the initial interview if it's a big job, second story addition or
sure.
Casually while I'm pre-qualifying them. And then when I go out on the first sales call, we definitely talk about it. One of the things that I make sure I mention is that not all contractors, remodelers know the extent of the increase, and they aren't really watching it. They're not members of NAHB or a local council, and they don't really get this information. So they are much more likely to underbid a project against my bid, which has been adjusted for these increases, and to watch out. If they have any yeah, I mean, they really need to ask if there's another bidder that question. Are you aware that the prices have gone way up on lumber, so that they don't sign the contract, do the demo, and then say, when you can't stop the process, it's kind of like pregnancy, can't stop the process, you have to go through with it, then they jack up the price significantly to cover the increase in lumber costs. So I tell them, we're not going to do that to you. We're going to give you a price. It'll be a fixed price as long as the project starts reasonably soon after we sign the contract. Then you won't have any of those escalation surprises.
Oh, that's awesome. And are there any like materials that you show them as well to kind of bolster your claims about these prices?
Yes, absolutely. So that's one thing that's been really helpful with NAHB. They send us these weekly and sometimes more often than that newsletters or press releases that have been all about this for the last few months. I have had a couple of clients recently that, when shown that, said, oh, well, I think we're going to just wait and not start yet.
So it's a double-edged sword.
You have the double-edged sword thing.
That level of honesty. But the other side is you're kind of marketing yourself as their partner and their advisor, not just somebody who wants to like sell them this super high ticket item. And I feel that even if they wait, they probably will come back to you when they make up their mind to do the job. So
yeah, I think they do appreciate that.
Sure.
What we do next to try to deepen the relationship before we have to do that waiting time is to really encourage them to do the design plans with us. If you can spend some more time with them at the front end and use some of the waiting time to get the architectural plans done, the renderings, and also get them started on selections. So they may not start it for 6 months, but you've kind of locked them in, and you've kind of locked them into you if you've done your design agreement right, and have them, you're working on the plans for them and the plans are exclusive to your company.
And also psychologically, the fact that they're completing tasks is really good too. It gives them a feeling of moving the project forward, and it does deepen that relationship.
Exactly. So 2 things help: writing a check, a financial commitment, and then doing some legwork tasks to get the project ready to start. If they say, nope, don't want to do any of that, then their commitment level is not really there, or it's not very solidified.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time. Have a good day.
Thank you, Erica. Appreciate it. Take care.